So a couple of years ago, just before I laid up the XJ-S, I noticed that the oil pressure gauge wasn't working. From this little video here, you can see when I start the engine up, the oil pressure light goes out, but apart from a little blip on the oil pressure gauge, it's reading 0, which is always a little bit of a worry. I guessed it would be okay because the oil pressure light went out. It's quite common for them to fail, so just ordered a new one and change it. That's probably the best course of action. Yeah, you can see from this photo that the oil pressure sender's quite leaking, quite oily. So yeah, definitely needs replacing. The only problem is, to get it out, you need a special spanner. Well, I say a special one. I got a 17mm open-ended spanner, which I heated up and bent to fit. It's probably about one of the few things that'll do the job. So I bought a new one online. It looks the same, hopefully it's the same, but I did wonder because I'd heard stories that the new ones acted purely like a switch rather than a gauge sender. In other words, when they switched on, the little indicator on the dials would just remain at halfway and you wouldn't really know if the pressure was right or not. Out of interest, I cut the old one in half, and sure enough, yeah, it's a variable resistor on the old one. Now the new one kind of looks the same, but I'm not going to cut that in half. So what I did was set up a little test rig where I could pressurise it with air and see if the variable resistance worked or not. My little test rig just pressurised the sender and also measured the resistance across it at the same time. And I set it up so the pressure would reduce very, very slowly, and I can see the resistances. Yeah, sure enough, it was doing what it should do. I was getting a variable resistance along with the pressure rise and fall. So this one's definitely not a switch. It is as it should be. So refitting it was pretty easy, and as you can see from this photograph, it's well tucked away. But yeah, it goes in quite nicely along with the actual pressure switch to the side of it. So this little startup sequence just shows you the instruments on starting the engine. As you can see, when it starts eventually, the oil pressure light goes out and the oil pressure gauge rises. So it's all working normally again, as it should do. You'll notice the oil pressure light seems to be partially alight, but that's only the light coming back from the brake on. It's just the way the XJ-S instruments are. But everything's working fine again. Perfect.